the prisoner in chains. The metal door slammed shut behind him. Jace stumbled forward as the guards shoved him into the dark prison cell. His hands were cuffed behind his back, and blood dripped from a cut above his brow. His uniform was torn. His legs barely held him up. He was tired, hurt, and confused. The guards laughed and locked the door. One of them whispered to the other, "Let's see how long the human lasts with her." Then they walked away. Jace looked around. The cell was large but cold, lit by a faint red light from above. Chains hung from the walls. Scratches marked the floor like something had fought and lost. That's when he saw her. In the corner of the cell, crouched like an animal, was a girl. An alien girl. Her skin shimmered faintly like moonlight. Her eyes were glowing violet, watching him closely. She didn't move, she didn't blink. Her mouth was covered with a silver muzzle locked tight. Her arms were chained. Her legs too. She looked wild and dangerous. Jace raised an eyebrow. "Well, I've had worse roommates." She didn't respond. He slid down against the wall, groaning. His body ached and the cell was freezing. He glanced over at her again. She hadn't moved an inch. A voice echoed in the cell, metallic and cold. "Warning. Subject Zalara is extremely dangerous. Do not approach." Jace scoffed. Great. They gave her a name too. He wasn't afraid. Maybe he should have been. But Jace had seen too much already. He had been a scout, a mechanic, and a fighter. He knew how to survive. Still, something about this girl felt different. He reached into his torn sleeve and pulled out a small protein bar. It was crushed and half melted, but it was food. He took a bite. Then, without a word, he crawled across the floor and held it out to her. She stared at him, confused. "You hungry?" he asked. She didn't answer. Her eyes narrowed. Jace moved closer, and faster than he could react. She lunged. Her mouth hit his arm, and her sharp fangs pierced his skin through the metal muzzle. Blood spilled as he fell back with a yell. Then, everything went dark. Jace woke up minutes later, gasping for air. His arm burned. He sat up, dizzy and weak. The alien girl was standing over him now, shaking. The muzzle had broken off during the bite. Her face was covered in his blood. But she wasn't attacking. She was staring at him in shock. You're not dead," she whispered. Her voice was soft and broken, as if she hadn't spoken in years. Jace coughed. "Was that a kiss?" She backed away slowly, eyes wide. No one survives a Venari bite." Jace blinked. "A what?" "My kind. My bite. It's fatal. It destroys the blood, melts the mind, kills in seconds." He looked at his arm. It was still bleeding, but he was alive. Breathing. Awake. "Guess I'm not like the others," he said with a grin. She didn't smile. She looked afraid now. Afraid of him. Footsteps echoed outside. The guards returned. They looked through the bars and froze. "He's alive? He survived her bite?" The alarm lights turned on, bathing the cell in red. One guard stepped back. "Call the warden. We've found something." "Impossible." Zalara looked at Jace again. "Who are you?" she whispered. Jace leaned back against the wall and smiled, even though his arm still throbbed in pain. "I'm just a guy who shared his snack." Venari's Kursag Zalara couldn't stop staring at him. The human, Jace, was still alive, still breathing, still smirking like nothing had happened, but she had bitten him. Not just a nibble. Her fangs had gone deep. Any other creature would be dead by now. Bones melting, blood burning. But this one? He sat there, sweaty and bleeding, but smiling. "You should be screaming," she whispered. Jace shrugged, holding his injured arm. "Guess I've got tough blood." Zalara stepped back like she had seen a ghost. Her heartbeat was loud in her ears. She had been used to kill before. Dozens of times. She was made for it. Her bite had ended generals, warriors, spies. She had been told that her venom had no cure, yet here this man sat, still alive after her full bite. Her chains rattled as she moved. She couldn't stop shaking, not from fear, but confusion. Something inside her was changing. Then up in the control room, eyes watched them through the glass. The alien scientists whispered to each other in panic. One of them dropped a scanner. "This can't be," one hissed. Even the warden said, "Silence, prepare blood filters, isolate the human genome. This is a discovery of galactic importance." Inside the cell, the alarm lights turned blue. The change in color wasn't for warning. It meant experiment mode. Solara looked up. She had seen this color before too many times. It meant pain was coming. She turned to Jace. "They're going to take you." Jace frowned. "What for?" "Your blood. Your immunity. You're a lab. Rat now." He chuckled weakly. "First, I'm your cellmate. Now I'm their science project. What's next?" Solara didn't laugh. "They will drain you. You'll wish you had died from my bite." The door buzzed open. Guards in white armor entered carrying long rods and black bags. Jace tried to stand, but he was weak. Solara's voice dropped low. "Don't resist. Wait. Watch. Survive." "Why help me?" he asked. She looked at him, eyes flickering with something he couldn't read. "Because you didn't scream when I bit you." Jace was strapped down in the lab room like a piece of meat. Bright white lights above, cold steel table below, tubes in his veins, machines beeping around him. Aliens in white coats whispered and argued. One of them spoke into a recorder. Day 1 of testing. Subject, human male immune to venom. Blood sample extraction underway. A needle dug into his arm. He gritted his teeth. "Hey, at least buy me dinner first." They ignored him. More tubes were connected. One screen flashed red. His blood showed anomaly levels never seen before. "His DNA is repairing faster than we can read it," one muttered. Another nodded. Venom is inside him, mutating. But instead of killing, it's merging. Back in her cell, Solara was alone again. But her chains felt tighter now. She closed her eyes, remembering her past. Being a child, taken from her nest, bitten by her own mother to activate her venom. Then trained to kill. No friends, no voice, only poison. She had accepted it long ago. She was death, nothing more. But now, a man had lived. Because of him, her curse didn't feel like a curse anymore. Footsteps approached. A guard returned, whispering through the door. "Your human," screamed. Solara's fists clenched. No. He wouldn't scream. Not Jace. The guard sneered. "The warden says you'll be next. They want to see what happens if you bite again." In the lab, Jace lay unconscious, blood drained, lips pale. But suddenly, his eyes snapped open. He gasped and sat up, yanking the wires from his body. Scientists screamed. Alarms blared. Jace's veins were glowing faint blue, his muscles stronger. "His wound's nearly gone, I feel," he muttered. "Weird." He grabbed the nearest guard's baton and knocked him out with one hit. Chaos erupted. He didn't know what was happening to him, but he knew one thing. He had to get back to her. The escape plan, the hallway lights flickered. Sirens still echoed through the cold steel walls as red lights pulsed like a heartbeat. Lab workers were on the floor, unconscious or running in fear. And in the middle of it all stood Jace, breathing hard, his body glowing faint blue. His hands trembled not with fear, but with power. He didn't understand what the venom had done to him. His muscles felt stronger. His cuts had closed. His vision was sharper, but none of it mattered. He had one thought. Solara. He grabbed a shock, baton from the floor, sprinted through the corridor and slammed into the elevator door. It didn't open. "Manual override," he muttered. He reached into the control panel and ripped it open. A few sparks flew. He yanked 2 wires together, click. The door hissed open. Meanwhile, in the deep cell block, Solara hung from her chains, barely able to stand. The guards had returned earlier. They had hurt her, not to punish her, but to test how much venom she had left. She hadn't screamed. She never did. But she was close to giving up. Her body was broken. Her spirit, nearly gone. That's when she heard it. Boom. One wall shook. Boom. Something was coming. Then the door to her cell exploded open in a shower of sparks. Through the smoke stepped Jace. His shirt was torn. His eyes glowed like ice. He held 2 stolen shock batons and looked like a man who had fought hell and won. She blinked. You came back? He walked up, breathing hard. What, you thought I'd leave my favorite roomie behind? She let out a small, shaky laugh. Then she collapsed. Jace caught her just in time. She was burning hot, fevered. Her chains had cut deep into her skin. His heart raced. He looked around and saw the control box for the chains. He smashed it with his baton. The metal restraints hissed and fell off. She sank into his arms. You're glowing, she whispered. He nodded. Your bite. It did something. To me. Then you'll die soon, she said, barely able to keep her eyes open. No, Jace replied. I'm getting stronger. She stared at him. That wasn't possible. The venom was designed to kill, not evolve. He picked her up and looked around. Time to go. They made their way through the tunnels of the prison fortress. Jace carried her as alarms screamed above. Drones flew overhead, scanning. He ducked under a bridge, hiding behind a power crate. Zalara whispered weakly, There's a vent 1 floor up, it leads outside. Jace glanced at the wall. All right, let's break some rules. He kicked open a door and dashed up the stairs. Guards shouted. Jace turned and slammed the door shut behind them. He reached the wall Zalara mentioned. A circular metal vent was bolted shut. He set her down gently and pulled a tool from his belt, something he had stolen from the lab. Can you walk? He asked. I can try, she said softly. Suddenly, blaster fire lit the hallway. The door behind them burst open. An elite alien guard stepped in, twice Jace's size, covered in red armor. Jace stood in front of Zalara. No more running, the alien growled. You are a specimen now. Jace clenched his fist. No, I'm human. The alien fired. Jace dodged and moved faster than he ever had before. The venom inside him wasn't killing him. It was making him more than human. He struck the guard with both batons. Electricity crackled. The alien fell back. But Jace had taken a hit too. His side burned. Blood dripped again. He crawled to the vent and looked at Zalara. Go. Now. She grabbed the baton from him, her hands shaking. Not without you. Jace smiled weakly. You bit me, remember? We're bonded. Now she kicked open the vent cover. Cool air rushed in from outside. One last look back and together they slipped into the dark, narrow tunnel. They crawled through the metal pipe, bruised and breathless. And then, finally, they saw it. The stars. They had reached the outside. Zalara looked up at the sky, feeling wind on her face for the first time in years. Jace leaned against the wall, exhausted but alive. All right, he said, smiling. What now? She looked at him, her face soft. Now, we run, and maybe we fight. Jace nodded. Whatever this venom had done to him, whatever the galaxy now wanted from them, they would face it. Together. Blood games. The sky was burning red behind them. Jace and Zalara ran across the rocky plains, barely able to stand. Smoke rose in the distance, the prison fortress now in chaos. Sirens echoed in the wind, calling hunters to chase them. They didn't stop running. Every step felt heavier. Jace's body was changing again. The blue glow in his veins was now stronger. He didn't feel pain anymore, but pressure, like something inside him was waking up. Beside him, Zalara limped badly. She had lost too much blood. Her venom had never been this unstable before. We can't stop here, she gasped. I know, Jace replied. But we need cover. They spotted a crashed cargo ship in the distance, half buried in dust forgotten by time. Jace dragged her inside. Inside the wreckage, the ship was quiet, filled with sand, metal scraps, and broken systems. He placed Zalara gently on a torn seat. She winced, trying to hide her pain. "I'll find something to help," Jace said. He searched the ship and found a small med kit, old but usable. He cleaned her wounds and wrapped her arms. Her skin was hot, almost burning. "You're overheating," he muttered. "Your venom. It's turning against you." Zalara looked up at him with tired eyes. "It happens when a Venari bonds, and doesn't complete the ritual." "Ritual?" Jace asked. She nodded slowly. "My venom marked you, but I didn't. Finish the bond. The energy is trapped. Inside you, and me. So how do we fix it?" Her voice cracked. "You'll have to bleed. Again." Back in the prison, chaos had ended, and control returned. In the center of the lab stood a tall figure in black armor, the Warden. He was calm but furious. His eyes glowed with green rage. "Prepare the hunters," he said coldly. "I want them alive." A scientist stepped forward. Warden, the human. He didn't just survive the venom, it bonded with him. He's a living weapon now. The Warden turned slowly. "Good. That means his blood is even more valuable." Meanwhile, inside the wrecked ship, Jace stared at the blade Zalara gave him. A small, sharp knife, cleaned, sterilized. "You want me to cut myself?" he asked. "It's the only way to release the venom's energy. If it builds too much longer and we both die." He didn't argue. He made a clean cut across his forearm. Blue blood leaked out, shining and strange. It sizzled on the floor like acid. Zalara leaned forward, trembling. "I need to bite again. But this time, not to harm." He nodded. "Do it." She hesitated. Then slowly, gently, she sank her fangs into his shoulder. Pain surged, but it was different. Not sharp, not violent. It was like lightning inside his blood, burning and bright. Jace cried out, but didn't pull away. The venom flowed, and then everything went white. When Jace opened his eyes, the world looked sharper, colors brighter. Time slower. He sat up, breathing fast. Zalara was awake too, her wounds almost gone. She touched her lips. "It's done. The bond is real now." Jace stood. "What does that mean?" Before she could answer, the ship shook. Outside, engines roared. "Search." Drones had found them. Jace helped her up. "Can you walk?" She nodded. "Can you fight?" He looked at his glowing arm. "Let's find out." The ship's door burst open. 2 armored hunters rushed in. Zalara leapt forward, her fangs faster than bullets. One guard dropped before he even fired. Jace charged the second, dodging with inhuman speed. He punched the hunter into the wall, leaving a dent. But then, something new came. A cloaked figure stepped through the smoke. The Warden himself. "You're both rare creatures now," he said coldly. "And rare things belong in cages." Jace clenched his fists. "We're not yours." The Warden pulled a long black sword from his back. "Then prove it, human." Jace stepped forward, glowing with venom, heart pounding. "I don't know what you made me into." He raised his fists. "But I'm not done changing yet." Something awakened. Jace could feel it in his bones. Something ancient, something wild, pushing through his veins. As the Warden stepped forward, sword drawn and cloaked in shadows, the air turned heavy. Time seemed to slow. Beside Jace, Zalara whispered, "You shouldn't fight him. No one ever wins." Jace didn't look away from the enemy. "Good. Then he won't expect me to." The Warden moved first, silent and fast. Jace barely dodged the black blade. It sliced through metal like it was paper, missing his face by inches. His instincts kicked in, not trained, not learned, awakened. He grabbed a pipe from the wall and blocked the second strike. Sparks flew, his arms shook, but he didn't fall. Though Warden's voice was cold. "You are no warrior," Jace smirked. "That's what everyone thinks until they're on the floor." Outside, the hunter drones circled the crashed ship like vultures. Solara crawled toward the control panel. "I need to power the blast door. If we trap him in here, we can escape through the service hatch." Jace nodded, swinging the pipe again. It bent under the Warden's blow, but didn't break. He was getting faster, stronger. Each second, the venom worked inside him. It built something new. The Warden slashed across his chest. Blood sprayed, but it wasn't red, it was blue fire. Jace dropped to one knee, breathing hard. The Warden raised his sword. "This ends now." Suddenly, boom! The ship's blast door slammed shut behind the Warden. Solara had activated it. She screamed, "Now Jace, run!" But Jace didn't move. He stood back up, eyes glowing brighter than ever. His blood steamed in the air. The venom had awakened fully. His muscles twitched with new energy. His pain vanished. Jace looked the Warden dead in the eyes. No more running. The Warden attacked with deadly speed, but this time, Jace caught the blade, with his bare hand. Too burned, but he didn't let go. The Warden's eyes widened. "You're not just infected." Jace grinned. "I'm evolving." He drove his knee into the Warden's gut, sending him flying into the wall. The ground shook. Back at the hatch, Solara screamed, "You'll die!" Jace shouted back, "Then I'll make it count." But she wasn't leaving him again. She ran to his side, fangs bared. The two of them fought together, Venari and human side by side. She struck from the shadows, fast and sharp. Jace blocked. Hit, countered, each move more powerful than the last. The Warden began to fall back. He had hunted aliens for years, broken them, used them, killed them, but he had never faced a bonded pair. Not like this. At last, Jace landed the final blow, straight to the Warden's chest. The armored figure flew backward, crashing through a console and disappearing in a cloud of smoke. Jace dropped to his knees, chest heaving. Solara helped him up, whispering, "We have to go, that wasn't the end." Jace nodded. "I know, he'll be back." They ran through the narrow hatchway into the tunnels below the ship. As they moved deeper, the glow from Jace's body started to fade. But something remained. Not just the power, but connection. Solara placed her hand on his arm. "You're becoming like us, but not a monster. Something better." He looked at her. "What does that mean?" She didn't answer. Instead, she looked ahead. "It means they'll send worse next time." The Warden was just the beginning. They reached the end of the tunnel and saw light, real light. A valley stretched out below them. Stars above, wind in their hair, and freedom within reach. But they both knew it wasn't over. Not even close, because something had awakened inside Jace, and the galaxy wouldn't be ready for it. The final bite nightfall cloaked the valley in silence. Jace and Solara rested in a cave hidden between two jagged cliffs. The stars above blinked softly, but peace didn't reach them. Jace sat shirtless, by the fire, examining his blue glowing veins. The venom still pulsed inside him. It no longer hurt. But it didn't feel right either. Solara crouched near the edge, scanning the skies. Her ears twitched. "They're close," she said. "How many?" Jace asked. She closed her eyes. "Too many." Jace picked up a jagged piece of armor from their earlier fight, black metal with a strange symbol. He traced it. "Who trained the Warden?" he asked. Solara hesitated. "The High Fang, commander of the Core Hunters." Jace blinked. "The ones who kill gods?" She nodded. Suddenly a low rumble echoed through the mountain. The sky above split open. A dropship the size of a fortress lowered toward the valley. Jace and Solara looked at each other. "They're not here to capture us," she whispered. "They're here to erase us." Moments later, the earth shook as armored hunters stormed the valley. But this time, they weren't just drones or soldiers. Leading them was her, 8 feet tall, 4 arms, razor-sharp bone armor grown into her. Flesh, eyes like ice, mouth full of jagged silver fangs. The high fang. She stepped forward, sniffing the air. The scent of bonded blood, she growled. Delicious. Solara froze. Her legs trembled. She's Venari, like me, but older, stronger, crueler. The high fang turned toward the cave. I trained your kind to kill. Now I'll show this half-human thing what real death tastes like. Jace stood up, holding his breath. He wasn't afraid, he was angry. I'm not half of anything, he said. I'm whole. He stepped out into the open, fists clenched, veins glowing. The high fang laughed. You think a little venom makes you strong? Let's see how much. Your love hurts when I rip her apart in front of you. Solara moved beside him. She's not just stronger, she can steal our bond. Jace turned. What? She can absorb Venari energy. If she bites you, you die. And I die with you. Jace took a deep breath. Then it ends here. The battle began like thunder. The high fang charged and the ground shattered beneath her steps. Jace blocked her first hit, but flew 10 feet from the impact. Solara darted behind, biting at the high fang's spine, but her fangs barely scratched the thick bone armor. The enemy was built to survive everything. She grabbed Solara by the throat and slammed her into a rock wall. Jace screamed, "Let her go!" He rushed forward faster than before, but not fast enough. The high fang turned and bit him on the neck. Solara screamed in horror. The bond shattered like glass in her chest. Jace collapsed. His eyes went blank. His glow faded. The high fang stood tall, licking blood from her lips. He was sweet but weak. She turned to Solara. Now you die empty. But something happened. A strange pulse echoed in the air. The high fang froze. Her body twitched. Then, her mouth caught fire. Blue flames burst from her throat. She fell, to her knees, choking. Solara looked up, gasping. He poisoned her? Jace rose slowly, eyes burning bright, veins glowing like stars. He whispered, voice layered with power. Your bite changed me, but mine ends you. Jace stepped forward, calm and cold. The high fang screamed in agony, her body cracking, her armor shattered. Her blood boiled. She fell forward, dead. Solara crawled to Jace. How did you survive? He helped her up. My body didn't just accept the venom. It evolved again. And now, it fights back. She stared at him. You're something new. Jace smiled. No, I'm just human. Above them, the sky cleared. The ship retreated. The hunters fled. No one had ever killed the high fang before, not even warlords. But a bonded human had. Solara leaned on Jace's shoulder. We're not running anymore, he said. No, she agreed. Now they will. The bond beyond death. The wind in the valley had changed. It no longer carried the scent of fear or blood, but something else. Freedom. Jace stood quietly on the ridge, staring at the horizon. His skin still glowed faint blue, but his eyes were calm now. His breath steady. The venom inside him was no longer wild. It had become a part of him. Behind him, Solara walked slowly. Her body was healing, but not just the wounds. Her soul felt different too. For the first time in her life, she wasn't running. She was walking toward something, and she wasn't alone. They had buried the high fang in silence. Not because she deserved respect, but because they did. Jace looked at the ground. She trained your kind to kill, he said quietly. Solara nodded. And died by a bond she never believed in. He looked at her. Do you regret biting me? She looked away for a moment, then stepped closer and took his hand. I don't regret the bite, she said. I regret not meeting you sooner. Far above, in the dark corners of the galaxy, something stirred. News of the high fang's death spread like fire. A bonded human and Venari. Impossible. Unnatural. Dangerous. From the hidden empires to the silent war fleets, leaders whispered in fear. If one human could survive the Venari curse, what else were humans capable of? Back on the surface, Jace and Zalara followed the river toward a long-forgotten outpost, an old human relay station, now half-covered in vines. Inside, it was dusty, broken, but still powered by solar cells. Jace wiped off the control screen. He found a signal channel and pressed the button. "Anyone out there?" he spoke. "This is Jace Carter, human survivor. Not alone." There was silence for a moment. Then static. Then a voice. "Jace, is that really you?" He smiled. "Yeah, I've got company." Zalara found a mirror nearby. She looked into her reflection. For years she had seen herself as a weapon, a monster, a cursed thing. Now she saw something else. Hope. Jace walked over. "See something new?" She nodded. "I see someone worth saving." He leaned beside her. "You saved me first," she looked into his eyes. "I almost killed you." He stepped closer. "You didn't." Their foreheads touched. The bond between them, silent but strong, surged once more. No words were needed. That night they camped under the stars outside the station. Zalara told stories of her planet. Jace told stories of Earth, blue oceans, warm sunlight, the smell of rain. She closed her eyes and listened, then whispered, "Do you think Earth would ever accept me?" Jace smiled. "If they don't, they'll answer to me." She laughed quietly, curling beside him. He wrapped his arms around her gently. "You're not just a Venari anymore," he said. "You're part of something bigger now," she whispered. "What?" He kissed her forehead. "Us." In the distance, ships moved silently through the sky. They weren't hunters. They were observers, watching, learning, afraid. They didn't approach. Because what they saw below them wasn't just a human and an alien girl, it was the beginning of a legend, the story of a deadly bite that became a bond, of a human who refused to die, and an alien girl who learned how to live. Together. Her bite was made to kill, but with him it gave birth to something even more dangerous. Love.